Snow White and Rose Red. Once upon a time, in a small village within a tiny town, there lived a kind woman named Mrs. White and her two daughters, Snow White and Rose Red. Snow White was a shy and gentle soul, while Rose Red was full of energy and always eager for new adventures. The three of them led a simple yet content life, helping one another with daily chores, and eagerly listening to Mrs. White's enchanting fairy tales every night. However, as winter approached, their lives took an intriguing turn. One snowy evening, while Mrs. White was reading a captivating story to her daughters, a sudden knock echoed at their door, startling them all. Wondering who could be visiting at such a late hour in the chilly weather, Mrs. White reassured her daughters, "Don't worry, my dears. It must be a traveler seeking shelter from the cold." Curiosity and concern mingled in the girls' hearts, but they trusted their mother's judgment and allowed her to open the door. To their astonishment, a bear covered in snow stood at their threshold. Nervously, they watched as their mother kindly said, "Let me help you," and invited the bear inside. Intrigued yet apprehensive, Snow White and Rose Red decided to assist too. "Here, let's get you warm by the fireplace," Rose Red suggested, quickly fetching a blanket for the bear. As the days passed, the bear became their winter companion, and an unusual friendship blossomed. He visited their home frequently, bringing them delightful gifts. And they cherished the moments spent together, reading stories by the cozy fire. As the winter drew to an end, the bear expressed sadness and revealed that he was under a spell, compelling him to depart. Snow White and Rose Red were puzzled and inquired about the spell. "If it weren't for the spell, I wouldn't have met you both," the bear said wistfully. "Thank you for everything, but now that winter is over, I must go." The sisters couldn't bear to see their dear friend leave and pleaded for him to stay, but the bear insisted he had to go. With heavy hearts, they bid farewell to their beloved winter companion, who had become a treasured part of their lives. A few days later, Snow White and Rose Red ventured into the forest, their playful laughter resonating among the trees. As they gathered fruits and wood, a series of strange and desperate screams filled the air, piquing their curiosity. Intrigued and concerned, they followed the sounds and came upon a peculiar sight, a dwarf with his long beard hopelessly stuck under a fallen tree. Frustrated and anxious, he jumped up and down, calling for help. "Hey, you two! Get over here quickly and help me out!" the dwarf pleaded, a mix of annoyance and desperation in his voice. Snow White and Rose Red dropped what they had collected and rushed to assist the distressed dwarf. Together, they tried to lift the heavy tree, their small hands straining with effort. Despite their determination, the tree remained stubbornly in place, and they eventually had to concede defeat, feeling disheartened. But Rose Red, ever resourceful and quick-thinking, reached into her pocket and pulled out a pair of sharp scissors. Ignoring the dwarf's protests, she approached him with a confident smile. Wait! What are you going to do?" he protested, but before he could react, she snipped the end of his beard, freeing him from his predicament. The dwarf's initial shock quickly turned into anger, and he began yelling at the sisters. Unfazed by his outburst, Snow White and Rose Red couldn't help but chuckle at the dwarf's amusing antics. Angrily, he stormed off into the forest without uttering a word of thanks. Unfazed by the dwarf's lack of gratitude, the sisters knew in their hearts that helping others was its own reward. Their compassion and bravery knew no bounds. The following day, while by the river, the sisters heard the dwarf's voice once again. This time his beard was tangled in the mouth of a large fish, and he was yelping in distress. "You silly little fish, let me go!" he shouted, his frustration evident. Without hesitation, the sisters rushed to help once more, attempting to free his beard from the fish's firm grip. Their efforts proved futile as the fish's powerful jaws held on tightly, and Rose Red exclaimed, "We're going to drown in the water!" However, she refused to give up. With determination and quick thinking, she pulled out her trusty scissors and cut the dwarf's beard once more. The dwarf's protests filled the air, but Snow White and Rose Red had learned that sometimes the right thing to do might not always receive gratitude. Nonetheless, they didn't let it dampen their spirits, knowing that helping others was its own reward. As they turned to leave, their ears caught another sound from the depths of the woods. Curious yet cautious, the sisters followed the noise and found a young man lying on the ground, his forehead bruised, and a magnificent horse standing nearby. Concerned, they approached the young man, offering him water. He struggled to get up and introduced himself. "I am Prince Eric, the son of the king. I came to find my missing brother. He disappeared during the winter while wandering through the forest with a bag of precious jewels. When I tried to chase the dwarf who had his bag, he put a spell on me, and I couldn't see where I was going. I ended up falling and hitting my head on this rock, and the dwarf vanished." The sisters empathized with the prince's plight and promised to help him in his quest to find his missing brother. Grateful for their support, the prince felt a sense of comfort and relief. However, the tranquility of the moment was short-lived as a loud roar reverberated through the woods. Reacting quickly, they all mounted the horse and galloped toward the source of the sound. To their surprise, they found the dwarf desperately trying to escape from a big bear who held on to his beard and growled menacingly. Puzzled by the bear's sudden aggression towards the dwarf, Snow White couldn't help but voice her concern. "This is our friend, the bear. Why is he attacking the dwarf?" The dwarf desperately pleaded, "Leave me alone," and continued struggling to break free from the bear's grasp. Recognizing the dwarf as the one who had previously cast a spell on him, Prince Eric drew his sword and stepped forward. Instructing the girls firmly, "You two stay back. This is the creature I saw with my brother's bag of jewels. He must pay for what he has done." But the dwarf, in his desperation, had other plans. He tried to reason with the bear. "Leave me be! Take all the treasure you want!" But the bear's intentions went beyond mere jewels. He yearned to reclaim his true form, and with a fierce roar he declared, "I don't just want the jewels. Look at what your spell has turned me into. Bring me back to my true form." In a desperate attempt to regain control, the dwarf managed to free his beard from the bear's grasp and scrambled up to a nearby rock. From there, he sneered and said, "Now it is time to show my true form. Do you think you can defeat me?" He touched his beard and began to send magic spells toward Prince Eric and the bear. "Cut his beard! That's where all of his power is! Do it now!" the bear screamed. As the dwarf unleashed his magic spells in his monstrous form, Snow White and Rose Red bravely approached from behind and swiftly cut off all his beards. The beard fell to the ground and he lost all his magical powers. To their astonishment, the bear transformed into a handsome prince, Prince John, the brother of Prince Eric. Filled with elation, Prince Eric rushed to his brother, embracing him with genuine warmth. "I have missed you, brother," he said with heartfelt emotion. Prince John reciprocated the affectionate embrace, his eyes shining with joy. "It has been too long. I missed you too, brother. The evil dwarf stole my jewels and put a spell on me, turning me into a bear." With the spell broken, the relieved brothers expressed their gratitude to Snow White and Rose Red for their incredible bravery and selflessness. The sisters had formed an unbreakable bond with the two princes, and love blossomed in the hearts of all four. In a grand and joyous wedding ceremony that captivated the entire kingdom, Snow White married Prince John and Rose Red married Prince Eric. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.